Okay, I think we're live, George.
Yeah, cool. Nice one. Cheers, Paul. Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Arsenal Women Chat Show. And we are live on the Arsenal Women Chat Show, the Mr. Arsenal podcast and hybrid fans forever. We are back after the international break. George is back. As you can see, we've got a full pack of guests here. Some new ones, some old faces, and even a certain brother Grimsby and Jack. He's back. So we're going to talk about the Lyon game on Sunday, which is important. Probably our biggest game of the season, I would say. And we'll talk about a couple of contract extensions and people leaving, and we'll go from there, really. So I'm going to start by introducing you to my guest. Catherine, how are you doing?
Doing good. Happy Friday. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, it should be good. And as you heard at the start of the show, Paul's here. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. Glad to get to the weekend finally.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Well, and then we have the return of the brother Grimsby. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah, I'm good. I finally made it to a week off. Got tickets for Sunday. Weather's out and shining, and hopefully the internet will stand me in good stead. I've got a hamster in the background on the wheel, so hopefully we'll lose me at any point tonight.
Yeah, if it's anything like the Yorkshire Bowlers earlier, I think they need it. But yeah, and then Kev, how you doing, mate?
All good. Yeah. Looking forward to the weekend. Sun shining. We're going to be loud. The girls are going to be on fire.
Yeah, nice one. And then I'll come to our new guest. So, Anthony, great to have you here and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, excited to be joining you guys today. I have missed the ladies for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Nice one. And then another new person. God, it's like Arsenal in the transfer window, this. Now we've got Rochelle. Lovely to have you here as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really looking forward to getting back to Arsenal after the international break. So, yeah, looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, nice one. But if you are watching Claire Wheatley, this is not how you do the transfer business. But cool. Paul, do we have any comments in the chat so far?
Yeah, there's a few. So Laura's here. This is her favourite football podcast. Hash says hello. Dorian says hi. And that Chelsea was the most important game, as we've now beaten them and they can't win it. So yeah, Laura's had a busy 2 days arguing about Stina's contract extension.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it?
For some.
Yeah, for some. Cool. Well, you know what? Let's get into it. Obviously, Anthony, I'll start with you. Obviously, we've got Lyon on Sunday, repeat of last season. How are you feeling going into the game? Obviously, I know we're coming off the back of an international break, but are you slightly confident?
Fun enough, I'm very confident, actually. I went to the game last season, and it was great to see us come through that. But when we played them at Meadow Park earlier this season, they looked different class to us. It looked like they had really gone up a gear, but somehow we've sort of had our season started late, and we've sort of gone to a groove. And I think we're in a good place at the moment. They are a good team, and there's no way I'd underestimate them. But I am fairly confident about beating them.
Yeah, no, nice one. Rochelle, I'll come to you. Obviously, we saw what happened last season in the first leg. Less said about that, the better. But do you think this season, like on Sunday, they would have learnt any valuable lessons comparing to that game last season, or do you think both teams were a little bit different, so it's just a clean break from comparing the games?
I think the way Arsenal played last season was it kept everyone on the edge of their seat. I mean, the amount of times that we went into the second leg needing to pull off a miracle, I think we've learned our lesson from that, and it will be interesting. The performances we've put on at the Emirates this season have been absolutely amazing, but then at the same time, Lyon are a team that you never know whether they're going to pull out all the stops or whether they're going to be, whether you'll be able to get a few goals past them. I really do think that we will be able to take the win back. I think it all just falls on that second leg, and unfortunately, we're at home for the first leg. I think if we were at home for the second leg, it could be a completely different story. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't mind if they do what they done last year though in Lyon. That won't be too bad. Cool. Coming to you, Catherine. Obviously, like we said, we saw what happened last season at the Emirates and this season. I've kind of noticed that Renee seems to learn from a bit of her mistakes when it goes to playing the team before. So, like, obviously, we lost to Lyon earlier at Meadow Park. What do you think she needs to? What do you think her and the team need to change so that history is not repeated?
I don't know what much needs to change other than the fact that we are going to have a clear change in lineup, and maybe that's what's needed from the first time that we played them this season compared to the second time, and then on to the third time. But I think, I mean, to the point of the home form of Arsenal at the Emirates specifically is unmatched, and I think Renee will be able to play off that even more compared to the first leg, or not the first leg, but the first game. And so I think it's going to. I think Lyon are going to be very, very much surprised by essentially the amount of changes that Arsenal has needed to make from October to April, and the change in venue has always seemed to help Arsenal bounce back when there's been a drop in form this season. Whenever we've had a game at Meadow Park and then we go to the Emirates the next game, it always seems to bounce right back. And whether that's because there's more fans or they prefer the pitch at the Emirates, that's could be up for debate. But I think it's going to be a good first leg, and I'm staying positive here with it's going to be a good first leg. And I even think that Renee could even try and pull from Lyon versus Wolfsburg in both of those legs. That was a rough game, or rough 2 games for Lyon. And I
think if they were more attacking Wolfsburg in that second leg, I think they easily could have probably knocked Lyon out, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think from October when we played them, there will be a lot higher intensity. I think I don't want to say that we didn't have a high intensity in October, but I think this one will be even higher, especially since this is now the start of a 20-day intense period. And if we can start off this 20-day leg of 7 games on a really positive note, I think that will also just help the team in general as well.
Yeah, I agree. Just want to say hi to Mitch. Hope you're okay. Also, anyone new watching, please hit that subscribe button because it really helps us. And obviously, subscribe to the channels that are mentioned on here. I'm going to come to you, Paul. Obviously, like Catherine said, we want to be on the positive footstep with that. But obviously, if we put everything into this Lyon game, we've got a couple of WSL games where you could easily rotate you. So do you think that falls into our favour, the games that we've got, say like the Leicester and Villa, Brighton? It's not like we didn't lose to them before and won the Champions League, but do you think that falls into our favour, or do you still think they're really important games because we want to secure second? Where you sitting, what part of the fence with that?
I think every game from now till the end of the season is extremely important to keep the momentum going. But it's great that we haven't got the likes of Chelsea, Man City coming up, so the games are likely to be slightly less intense. But it does mean that the whole squad are likely to get some minutes on the pitch, and it means they'll all stay sort of match ready. So even if your starting lineup against Lyon, she makes 2 or 3 changes for the Leicester game, everyone's ready to jump back in for that return leg for Lyon if needed, if someone picks up a silly injury or something. But I think it's great that we are playing these. It's not great we've got such a big a fixture congestion coming up over the next few weeks, but at least we've managed to get the teams that we are fighting for second place. We've managed to get those 3 games out of the way early in this second half of the season, and not forgetting we picked up 7 points against those top 3 teams out of a possible 9, and now we've just not got to do anything stupid and get a 0-0 draw with Leicester or something on Wednesday night.
I hope not, because I'm going to that game, so I hope it ain't a 0-0.
Yeah, I'm going to that one as well.
Okay, cool. We'll meet up.
Yeah,
Kev, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, like just echoing like what Paul said. The games are important, but do you think they are kind of putting all their eggs into one basket, a bit like last season, or do you think this time they're saying, do you know what, we've got hopefully the squad to rotate to get us through? Because the last few WSL games we haven't got any of the top 4 teams, have we? So they're all winnable games, aren't they?
They are.
So this is
I
Arsenal.
think, yeah. Apart from centre-back issues, we have got the strength and the depth in the rest of the departments. So, yeah, we can get away with resting players for the midweek games without too many issues. Obviously, I think the only one that I would be slightly concerned about, Brighton. Wouldn't want to be resting too many. But, yeah, there's no reason we can't win every game between now and the Champions League final. So, yeah, I'm full of confidence. And I'm only missing 1 game out of the rest of the season, and that's Lyon away. Because unfortunately, I'm not rich.
I managed to do it for under 350. To be fair.
Yeah, but you've only got to take yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, Tasha and Mika don't like football, so I'm all right.
Well, my other half don't like football, but I can't go places like Lyon without her.
Yeah. I probably won't be saying that for much longer, though, so yeah, we'll see. Jack, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, it's a really big talking point, so I wanted to get your views on it. I know we spoke about Leah Williamson. Everyone's done a sigh like that. Oh, he's going there. She's back. Obviously, we've seen her play 45 minutes for England. I would have thought she would slot to start with Lotta on Sunday. Where are you with Leah Williamson? Because I think she probably does need to start ahead of Leia Kadina, doesn't she?
I'd be interested in Steph Catley's fitness.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had an update on that. I'm seeing shape.
I think she's out. She's out of Sunday, as far as I know, but she could be back for the away.
You know what? I go Katie McCabe. Katie McCabe at centre back. She's not let us down. Lyon have a lot of pace, and with the injuries that Leah's had, they tended to be muscular. I think if we lose her early on in the game, especially at the Emirates, I can't remember who. One of the comments talks about how actually the big pitch probably could be a disadvantage for us. And I do sort of agree with that. Lyon are a lot of energy. They run into space in that sense. So I would go Katie McCabe. I think she covers. I just don't trust how fit Leah is at the moment. I was completely against her playing for England. and I think
Yeah,
we've got to. I think
said
we've
it
got
a
to
few
protect Leah from
times.
herself. I think
Yeah.
she needs to be protected from herself. She will say she's able to play every game, and I don't think you can ever blame the player for that.
No.
Like, I
Well, at the
don't
end
doubt.
of the day, if we was in that position, Jack, we were captain of England, and someone said to you, "All right, it's your choice. You play whenever you want." You're not going to say, "Oh no, I don't fancy it." So, you know what I mean, I don't. It's a bit like if you're talking about the men with the Bukayo Saka situation. I think the best players want to play as much as they want, but I just worry that Leah, she does need to be protected, but we need her for these big games. That's why I'm saying I was kind of happy that she did get the 45 minutes. But
Yeah,
do you think that's more detriment to her? Like, because she's going to put herself under more pressure, surely now, isn't she?
I still think we stick with the plan. We go second leg, Leah, give her a few more minutes, ease her back in. Katie McCabe hasn't done anything wrong at all at centre back, and against Chelsea in particular, obviously there was the obvious incident I'm ignoring. But on a defensive level, I thought she was very good in both games at centre back, and I would be pretty content in having her there. She's got that little bit of extra pace as well. She's worked quite well with Lotta. We've not seen Lotta and Leah that often this season. I just don't. I think Leah is going to be vital in that second leg. I think if we get to the final against Barcelona, she'll be vital. And I think the fear is that we rush her back slightly too quick, and then we lose her for the rest of the season. So I think we back the next woman up, who would be probably Katie McCabe. I think we got the cover at fullback to have Katie McCabe. Exactly. So yeah, I would be very careful still. I think because Lyon's attack is full of pace, like they've got to be one of the quickest attacks in women's football. Full of pace, full of energy, and I would be very, very cautious about playing any player in that back line who is 80%, 90% even. I'm positive for the game, but I think we need everyone to be really honest and sharp. And yeah, because if I remember the first leg last year, it was Lyon's pace, especially down the wings, getting in between that full-back, centre-back area where we were hurt pretty badly. And that first leg could have been considerably worse than it actually was.
Yeah. Cool. Rochelle, I'll come to you. Obviously, the chat, what Jack said about Katie McCabe maybe slotting in at centre half. Defensively, I get a bit worried about McCabe, especially against players with pace. So, but would you rather see McCabe there instead of rushing Leah back, or are you the other way around?
I always think that Leah's a big game player. She's one of those players that will show up when you need her, but she hasn't really played a lot in the last 5 months. And I do agree with Jack that I think we do need to hold her back for that second leg and then potentially the final. She had the game of her life against Barca last season, and I think if we put her out on Sunday, then it could risk that. I mean, I think if they're going to put her out on Sunday, maybe she shouldn't feature against Leicester and she shouldn't feature against Everton. I think they should keep her for the Champions League. But the idea of McCabe at centre back, apart from the incident at Chelsea, she has had a pretty flawless run. So I guess it's, if they're going to put Leah at Champions League, are they prepared to rest her in the WSL? Because I don't think, from the lack of playing time she's had, I don't think she can play both. I think it's got to be one or the other.
No, absolutely bang on. I'm not trying to be too critical, but I just don't want to be seeing Cadino against players that are that quick. I've still got nightmares from Thompson against Cadino. So, Anthony, obviously we're talking about Leah Williamson. Like, we all know, like, she is a big game player. Obviously, she wouldn't be captain of England if she wasn't. Where do you sit with the Leah Williamson debate? Are you bringing her in on Sunday, or you just taking it a bit slower?
I think I'd go with not playing her. I think it would be a less controversial issue if Lotta hadn't stepped up so much in Leah's absence. And again, I was at the game last year, and you're right. The pace of the Lyon the Lyon strikers and wingers was relentless, and I wouldn't want to see Leah pull her hamstring in a game like that, because how many games have we got left after this? 5, 6.
So we've got Leicester,
games.
Everton, Villa,
Yeah.
Liverpool. So, yeah, about 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think we have depth. Lotta can if we have Katie at centre back again, Lotta can guide her anyway. So I think it's a bit risky using Leah for this game. I didn't like the fact she was playing for England either.
I'd say if you're not fit enough, like you shouldn't be going like for England. Personally.
Yeah, no, I mean I appreciate the fact it was a World Cup qualifier, not friendly, but and of course, as you say, she was never not going to play, but no, I think I would go with Katie at left back, and Taylor Hines has impressed me at left back this season. I liked her at Liverpool. I wasn't sure she was the right person to get, and she's done well at left back, so we can use Katie at centre back. I feel bad for Kadina, but she worries me. The two chances Chelsea got in the first leg were really at her end of the pitch.
I think if you look at Kadina, mate, as well, and I think a lot of people forget this, she probably is your fourth or fifth choice centre half. Because obviously, if Katie Reid's fit, she's above Leah Kadina. And then and I think if Steph Catley was fit, I don't think there'd be that much talk about Leah Williamson starting this weekend, because the way Lotta and Steph Catley have been, I think they've been immense this season personally. So yeah, and I think that's what also does get forgot about, is that if Kadina has to play, that's like your 4th/5th choice defender, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but it does sorry.
It does worry me a bit when I see her play, though.
Yeah, but it does highlight the fact that a left-sided centre back should be high on our shopping list in the summer.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do in the summer with the centre half, because obviously, I'll come to you, Catherine, about this. Obviously, with the centre half talk, if do you think they wait till the summer, or do you think they do anything in the summer, or do you think they wait till January, because then they'll kind of know where Katie Reid's at?
Oh, that's a loaded question, George.
That's
now, give me an easier one. I think one of the biggest things to take into account is that Arsenal has what, like 11 players as of January. Arsenal had 11 players that were out of contract. We've announced 2 as new contracts with Kim Little and Stina, and then we've announced a third one of Zinsberger, who is leaving the club at the end of the season. That still leaves 8 players that we are still deciding on or releasing the information on if they're staying or going. And
yeah,
two of them are Steph Catley and Leah Williamson. I don't think the club can afford, at this point, either of them leaving at the end of the summer without having solid choices as backups, because what we need is players that are as good as the players that are leaving, especially in that in the center back position. Like, we don't, aside from Katie Reid, we haven't seen much from the players coming through the pipeline. And I would say, yeah, we have Sophie Harwood, but the last time that her first game, her Arsenal debut was not as a center back. She was playing up top as a striker. So, I think that the smart option would be like giving Steph and Leah new contracts letting them stay at least for one more year and go hunting in the summer, but like really, really start to figure out what you want to do with that position in January.
Yeah.
I think that would be the way that we could still be competitive in the first half of the season, and really, really push on forward, because it's been kind of rumored Arsenal are going to be going through a rebuild phase. That's not a rumor. That is more or less a fact. But the rumor is that we're cycling in and bringing in like 5, 6, 7 new players. So if we can have some consistency, and maybe that could be helpful if we get some more center backs in. And I'd say keep your eye out, and January would be a reassessment of those that have been at the club for longer than 5 years.
Yeah, you was doing really well there, Catherine. Then you 6-7'd it. You
Sorry.
went 5. That's
I know. I counted. I started at 5, didn't I? I said 5, 6, 8. Would you prefer that? 5, 6, 8 new players?
Yeah, I hear enough of that 6-7 rubbish.
I don't really keep track of all the things I shouldn't and shouldn't say.
The beauty of having a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Kev, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, I spoke about that. Lineup wise, do you think it answers itself, or obviously we've got no Beth because of personal reasons? So do you think we see a similar team to say like probably live on one side, and probably is it going to be Ford? Do you think it'll be Ford or Kelly?
I'd prefer to see Kelly, but I think it'll be Ford.
Yeah.
It'll be Ford Smith. And I actually think it'll be Blackstenius with Russo in behind. I hate to say that because I want less playing at 9, but I think that's where we'll be. I think that's probably tactically our strongest front line, especially against Lyon. But I just drop back onto the centre backs. If we wait until next January, and if we're looking at a left-sided centre back, Esme Morgan, that would be my. I mean, all right, then we can put out an entirely. Yeah, I mean, I know it increases our Lioness numbers, but is that a bad thing?
I think
it'd be good to increase the fan base as well. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm in two minds about Katie playing at centre back on Sunday. I mean, to be honest, we don't know how straight Leah is. Obviously, the medical team will have been working with her. Same as the England medical team would have been. Yeah. But I actually do think that I would like to see Taylor at left back because of the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, we're never going to worry about Foxy.
No.
She's got pace to burn. But yeah, we're just going to have to be on it from minute 1.
Yeah. No,
can't have one of our slow starts.
No, because then you get punished, don't you? Let's be honest. Paul, when it comes to lineups, are you kind of in agreement in that, or can you see? Because I think midfield-wise, we're a bit. We haven't got many options, have we? It's either basically Kimmy Little, Mariona, or Frida, and I don't want it to be Frida. Unfortunately, no offense to anyone, but so can you see it being Kim, Mario, and Russo probably in the 10, and then Stina up front?
Yeah, I think that's probably the strongest option at the moment. It's a game that if we'd have had Beth available, I'd have loved to have seen the seen Smith in the number 9 role for this one, which worked against Man City. I think it's the sort of game that could thrive on something like that. But with Beth being out, it just leaves us a little bit short for cover. So yeah, I can see it being Russo in the 10 with Kim and Mariona sat there as well. So that's our sort of a weakness at the moment, is we've got a strong midfield, but we haven't really got the backup to it.
Yeah, I think that's why people like Geraldine Reuteler and Georgia Stanway are massive acquisitions if they come off in the summer, because you've sorted out your midfield, didn't you? To be honest, but and then that allows Mario to play a bit more forward. Jack, coming to you, obviously, what's your thoughts with the lineup? The Ford versus Kelly debate's interesting because obviously before the international break, Kelly was playing quite well. Ford got a goal, but yeah, what part of the fence are you on with that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ford versus Kelly. I actually thought Ford played really well in the game against Chelsea on a defensive level. So I do like Kelly coming off the bench. I know it's become a cliche, and I think it's an unfair one on her as a player. But I'm not necessarily sure we can win the tie in this first game, but I do wonder if we can lose it. So I would probably try and put on a fair bit of experience. I would have Ford playing. I actually think if Mead had been available, I would have had her playing. I don't like getting Russo on the ball in the centre of the park in the number 10 with Steiner able to stretch it out the back. I think Alessia Russo is arguably one of the best players in the world at the moment. So I think getting her on the ball as often as possible is only going to benefit us. I know we've had a brief talk about transfers, and I will just say from some of the stuff I'm hearing, there's, I think, some quite exciting stuff coming through at Arsenal. I think we may lose quite a few players, but there's some really big, exciting names in a real variety of positions being linked with us at the moment. And I'm sure there'll be at some point a very interesting podcast with Laura on at some point soon.
Yeah. Gives us content, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's the only reason they do it. It's not to rebuild the squad. It's just so we have content.
I think we've known it, didn't it? It's coming, I think. Yeah. But for this, I think you can't beat experience in the Champions League semi-final. Lyon have it. There'll obviously be the talk about Wendy Renard, players like that on their side. But we have that heritage on our side as well. I think the midfield of Kim Little, Mariona Caldente, Alessia Russo, all three players have been there in big games and done it on the big stage. They're reliable. Even Steiner, every time there's a big game, she'll miss chances, she'll be offside, but she'll score a goal. So just pack the pitch with experience. Try and win 1-2-0, but just don't lose the tie going for it at the Emirates. We've seen last year we're good enough to go to Lyon and beat them there. Their crowd isn't going to be much. If there's any Lyon fans watching, I might upset them. Their crowd isn't a massive factor.
Thanks for that. We all might get beat up because of you. So.
I remember last time the away fans were much louder. I think I remember it being quite a lot of empty space. It isn't as intimidating. So I fully back us if we needed a result at Lyon to go and get it. So I just think get the experience on the pitch, aim to win the game, but make sure we're not having to do too much into that second leg. Even if it's 0-0, that's not a disaster going into a second leg.
No, definitely not. Cool. Obviously, just a few comments. Laura's being sarcastic, saying she loves Frida. We all know she don't. But she love. If you've watched the podcast, you'll know that. And then talked about Smida Holmberg. Could she play on the right wing? She potentially could, but I don't think she'll start there or anything. She might come on as a sub. Dorian has said about Ford's replacement, Win the Dog would be better. probably a good shout. So we'll go around and get your predictions. So Anthony, I'll start with you. What's your prediction for Sunday?
2-1 Arsenal.
Oh, love that. Rochelle, what are you going for?
I'm I mean, a few people might hate me for what I'm probably about to say. I'm either toying between a 2-2 draw, or I could see us doing it just like 1-0 through like Stina at like the death.
Yeah.
I don't see it being much more than that.
No, that's a good one. I won't mind a 5-0 Arsenal, so I can go for a nice chilled out couple of days, but that won't happen. Paul?
I think it'll be a very tight game in the first leg, so I'm going to go with a 1-0.
Oh, Catherine?
2-1 to Arsenal. Would love a
Yeah.
quick clean sheet, but I think Leon's pace is going to get to us at some point.
Yeah. Nice. Kev?
3-1 Arsenal. I mean,
Yeah, right.
yeah, you got to give Leon a goal because they've just got the pace. But yeah, if we're clinical, 3-1.
Yeah, no, I think attacking wise, like you say, if we're clinical, we've got a chance to grab a couple. Jack?
I'm going to say 2-2. I think I agree with Rochelle. I think it's going to be a really tight game. But I do think we're going to go through on the tie. And I think we're going to end up going through on the tie quite comfortably. I just think this first game is going to be a real case of us figuring each other out. And just getting players back fit as well.
Obviously, Dorian has said it's going to be a lot harder because last year was down to Joe's tactics. Yeah, I think that's a fair shout. But I still think people like Mariona and that love to turn up on the big stage, don't they, in the big games? So if she wants to turn up for a couple of her world-class performances in the next couple of weeks, I'll be happy with that. To be fair, I think I'm going to agree with Rochelle. I think it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be it's not going to be a battering. I'd be honestly shocked if it's like more than 2 or 3 goals. So I'm going to go for 1-1. I think they'll score first, Leon, and then we'll just come back. But I'm still going to stick to it. Emily Fox, she'll score. One of these weeks, it's got to come true. Cool. We'll move on from the Leon game. We'll talk. Obviously, we saw Stina Blackstenius got a contract extension. If you didn't know, so kind of. I'll start with you actually, Rochelle. Like Stina Blackstenius is especially on this podcast, there's been pros, there's been cons. I've normally been in the con, but moving slightly now to the pro. So Darren will be happy. He's converted me. Where do you sit with Stina Blackstenius? Because obviously the role that she plays, obviously, I think this season has changed quite a bit because I've noticed she holds the ball up a lot better than she was last season. So do you think that role in the team is changing for Stina?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially in last season, I think it was very uncertain where she stood. And then I think, I mean, she's always a player that's always going to be offside and she always will miss her chances and then she'll get one in the end. But I think when she scored and obviously she won us the Champions League, I think everyone started to switch. And then she was on her last year of her contract. And yeah, I don't know whether it was the confidence from getting that goal last year that changed it for her. But yeah, her performances this season have been a lot better. When it was rumoured that she could have potentially would be leaving, I was a bit gutted because she is, she has saved us quite a few times. I mean, it wasn't a couple of seasons ago she came on and ended up getting us 3 points against City and again with Barca. So I think she's definitely, I don't know whether I am a minority, but I do quite like the Russo Stina partnership on the pitch. I think they work very well together. There's a lot of people that don't like seeing Russo in midfield. I do think if it's Stina ahead of Russo, I think they work very well together. So I do think with that new role with her partnered with Alessia, I do think that could go quite far.
Yeah, I think it's blossomed this season. I wasn't a big fan of it, I'm not going to lie, at the start, but then the recent times I've seen, and I think, you know what, it does work. And she don't seem to be as offside as much. She still is offside, but she's not as much. But yeah, I think Rochelle as well. I think, like you say, she might miss a few chances, but she does score some really important goals, and I think that's what carries the reputation with her for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Anthony, obviously carrying on the chat about Blackstenius. Obviously, where do you see her role going forward? Because obviously it looks like we're bringing in a few players next summer. Oh, sorry, this summer. But do you think she's going to be rotating with probably Russo and Smith, and then when Michelle comes back, or do you think?
I think it's. I heard someone say some time ago. It's hard to find a better second choice centre forward in the game, and that's going to be happy playing that role. And I used to get frustrated with Stina's misses, especially at important game states. But as you say, she'll miss 2 chances and then score an even more difficult chance. But talking about her, the layers that she's added to her game, I think a lot of credit should be given to Kelly Smith. Working with Kelly Smith, and you see how she's improved Russo's game as well. But she's definitely a better player, and as mentioned before, the fact that she did score that winning goal she is a confidence player, and what better way to boost your confidence than scoring the winning goal in a Champions League final. And it's enabled her to have the confidence to improve her game. She always made great runs behind defenders anyway, but her hold-up play is much better now as well. Naturally, as far as centre forwards go, I wouldn't swap Alessia Russo for anyone. But the fact that Stina can also do a job at centre forward, a more than decent job, it's given us the luxury of having Alessia being able to play at 10 as well. So no, so it didn't surprise me that she was going to get a contract extension, and I think a lot of other clubs would have been going in for her if she hadn't renewed.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, people watching, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and drop stuff to get involved with the show as well. Catherine, I'm going to come to you because I know you've got some cheeky Stina stats.
Oh, yes, I do.
I did see them. So, obviously, what's your thoughts on Stina signing, and then what's the stats?
I can't complain about Stina signing a new contract at all. I mean, again, Anthony had said it, Stina is comfortable being essentially Alessia Russo's backup. And that's not to say that she can't perform on her own as a starter, but there are very, in my opinion, there are very few top strikers out there that Arsenal could go for that would be comfortable being on the bench. So yeah. Stina is happy where she's at. I mean, she came out in interviews and said that Arsenal is her home, that it feels like home. So when you have a player like that who wants to stay and says that, yes, Arsenal feels like home, I think that can also just make her perform better. And I don't know how to say this person's account name, Erzi, said that Stina, since the February-March international break, has been a completely different player. And I agree with that. I think we've seen a different side of Stina since that international break. But as for my Stina stats, I went digging and I got this from my data source here is Footy Stats. Always credit your sources, folks. But I pulled up Stina's stats from when she first joined Arsenal back in the 21-22 seasons. She had played 11 games there. She had scored 6 goals. But you compare that to her 25-26 season. So far in the WSL only, she has played in 15 matches. I think she's started 6 of them. She's only played 100, or sorry, she's only played 690 minutes in the WSL this season with 8 goals. So that's coming out to pretty much a goal a game every time that, a goal per 90 minutes that she plays. So whether she comes off the bench or not, I think that we could expect to see a goal every other game essentially, especially if she's coming off the bench. But even her Champions League comparison, if we go from the 24-25 season to the 25-26, her Champions League output is very similar this year compared to last year, and she's played just over half the minutes in the Champions League. Stina is like looking at her goals per 90. Stina seems comfortable and to be coming off the bench and scoring the goals, especially looking at previous seasons and her minutes played. So to kind of put that in perspective, her 22-23 season in the WSL, 22 games, 1,618 minutes. She scored 8 goals that season. Her goals per 90 was 0.44. So she's over 1 goal per 90 in the 25-26 season. Even last year, when she was coming off the bench with 727 minutes played, she was scoring 0.6 goals per 90. So you kind of say one goal every other game, or 1 goal every 180 minutes. So she has flourished in the super sub spot, and I can't complain about that because she's done great things for us. I mean, she's won us the Champions League.
Yeah, don't need to do anything else.
Nope.
No. Talking about winning the Champions League, evening Gav, if you're watching. Just for Rochelle and Anthony's awareness, Gav supports Chelsea, so that team that don't know how to win the Champions League. So we have a bit of banter with him. But yeah, he's good though. I still think he might be Basil. I'm not. This hasn't been clarified yet. But Jack, I'll come to you about those stats. I think when you look at those stats, you think, oh, she's quite clinical. But I think the thing that goes against her is some of the opportunities that she misses are like sometimes harder to miss, aren't they? It's like you see the good, the bad, and the ugly when Stina plays. Would you agree with that, or?
No, absolutely. I remember talking to a coach in the women's game who described Stina as a flawed player with an elite mentality. And I think that completely sums it up. I think that's exactly what you want for a second striker, isn't it? You want that elite mentality. She's there. She's a team player. She's always willing to dig in. She'll come on. She'll do everything to make an impact. But we can all watch her and see she's flawed as well. I mean, I don't think there's a player who's made me put my hands on my head, or gasp, drop to my knees at times at some of the chances she's made. But she keeps going. It washes straight over her. And she has scored so many big goals in big games. And I don't think we could replace that in a way.
Do you remember the one when she done didn't she fall over or something and hit her on the back or something?
Yeah.
Strictly Tom Stina, wasn't it? Was that?
Yeah. I think she's gone for headers and ended up clearing it at points. She has such an elite mentality, because I think most strikers, it would get them down, they'd struggle. But every time there's a big game, or there's a final, you want Stina Blackstenius on that pitch. So I'm absolutely delighted she signed again. If you ask me after certain games, I'll probably be changing my mind, as all fickle fans do at times.
That's not like you, Jack. That's not like you at all.
She is exactly what you want from a second striker. I think Arsenal had a decision this summer. Do they sell Stina and bring in another striker to play with Lessie? Or do they basically say, Lessie, Stina, you're going to be our two strikers and we're going to bring in another player to play behind them? And I think that all lies in where they feel Lessie's role is. And I think by signing Stina on a new contract, I do expect next season we'll be seeing Lessie again in the number 9 role predominantly, which I think is only a good thing because I think that at the end of the day is where most of us want to see her as well. So it's planning.
What's interesting, Jack, as well, is that I think people forget that Michelle Adjuman has been out with an ACL. So we don't know how she's going to come back, and she is still young. So I wouldn't be expecting to probably see Michelle properly play until around the Christmas period or even after that. So obviously having Stina gives you that other buffer, doesn't it? Not having to think, oh no, we've only got Russo or Smith. That because you don't I don't think they want to be playing Smith through the night, through the middle quite regularly. I think that's just an option if that's what it fits. Would you agree with that? Obviously with the Michelle thinking.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle goes out on loan again. I think that would make sense. After an ACL, get her regular minutes, monitor her, come back. At the end of the day, Arsenal, an elite club that needs to challenge. We've got a real focus at the start of this next season to hit the ground running to go for this league title. We know the team's good enough, but we've got to hit that start of the season on fire, ready to go. So, yeah, I think it's unfair. Michelle's still such a young player, so talented, but she'll get there. I've got no doubt about that. But, yeah, I think let's just get Stina, Lessie up top. Let's get in some players behind. And if there's a cup final, you want Stina Blackstenius on that pitch at some point, sort of no matter what.
Yeah, cool. Before we finish, obviously, we'll chat. Obviously, we saw, Kev, that Manu Zinsberger is going to be leaving at the end of the season. I think for me, that's kind of a give her flowers, thanks for everything she's done, but she was never going to probably get ahead of Van Donselaar or Borba, was she? Especially after the ACL. So she would, at best, she probably would have been the third choice. Do you think that's a fair reflection?
Yeah. To be fair, when I saw that video yesterday, it did make me cry.
I've still not seen it. Everyone keeps telling me it's quite hard to watch.
She did great things for the club. She's probably our biggest cheerleader. But she doesn't deserve to be third choice anywhere. You know, she's such a big character. So, you know, she might even take time out and just play Happy Families for a while.
I thought she might stay as like a coach or something, you know, like, or an advisory thing around the club or something. She still might, but do you know what I mean?
She still might in the future. But I mean, so my overriding memory of Manu is going to be from Molyneux.
Yeah.
With that Connie Cup win and her antics after the game in the celebrations. You know, fantastic. I don't think anybody left the ground for an hour after the game. But yeah, I mean, I hope we get a proper chance to say thank you before the end of the season.
Well, that's what annoyed me with the Everton move, to be honest. Like, I would have liked us to have had a home game towards the end of the season to actually say bye to the players that are leaving. It's just, if you look at it, it's probably his Manu, it probably is McCabe, probably is Ford, potentially Palova. Like, during the week, you're not going to get the same effect, are you?
No, it's.
Do you think that's maybe why they announced Zinsberger leaving?
Yeah, maybe
this week.
Perhaps
just so that she can get her Emirates send off, like a more of a full Emirates send off rather than a midweek Emirates send off.
Perhaps, but then I would have thought, wouldn't they have wanted to do that with McCabe as well? Because there's a lot of talk she's going to go, isn't? I don't think it's not official, is it? But from
I mean, would they be leaving McCabe off until the last home game because she's still an active player? Not
Yeah.
to say that Zinsberger isn't, but Zinsberger
No.
is still recovering from her injury. So in
Yeah.
all likelihood, we aren't going to be seeing her play. So is that why she got announced and we're going to see a weekend send off for her more or less, compared to like McCabe and Ford, and you could even say Beth Mead, like all of those players. Leah Williamson, we haven't heard any contract news on her, so it's just one of those thoughts that I'm just throwing out there, that timing wise.
I reckon Man will
Yeah,
get 10
right.
minutes against Liverpool.
I just think like that Everton game, and this is just selfish and for sentimental reasons, probably easily could have been just left on the weekend, and they could have moved the Villa game. But I suppose that's up to Villa. But I just mean selfish and sentimental reasons, that would have been a good place to say goodbye. Like, because what it'll end up being is like Kev, like you said, it'll probably just be the away game in Liverpool, unless we win the Champions League. Just putting it
Yeah.
out there.
And that would be a game I'd be missing as well. So no.
You can go to the trophy parade. But yeah, Paul, what's your thoughts? Obviously, with the Manu news, do you think it was probably kind of written that was going to happen? Because obviously, we've seen like with her injury as well, and I think there's a lot of talk she could go back to Germany, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, when she was put down to number 2 goalkeeper for Daphne last season, you could see it was going to probably be on the cards for when her contract ran out anyway. And then Borba was brought in this season as well, and she's performed absolutely brilliantly. So we've got 2 top class goalkeepers there as well, and who are both relatively young in their careers. So when you've been overlooked by those 2 players, then it is sort of time to think, well, I'm not going to get my chance here anymore. If I want to continue my career, I need to be looking elsewhere. And I think we'll all agree that her time has come with us. She's done great things in the past. She's been great. She's been great for the club. She's been great for sort of interaction with us fans at Meadow Park. The amount of time she's interacted with us has been great. But now it's definitely time that she just finds another club, another chapter in her career.
Yeah, cool. What we'll do, guys, we'll wrap it up there because it's been an absolutely ram-packed show. So I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate it. Also, I'm going to say thank you to my guests. Anthony, first show, you absolutely smashed it. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Hope to have you back soon and not scared you off.
Love to.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Kev, thank you as always, mate.
Always a pleasure. And for those of you that are going Sunday, I'll see some of you in the Tolly.
He gives out autographs now because of his bike. So,
and she didn't get a new rear tyre today.
Oh, there you go, mate.
Supplier sent the wrong size.
Oh, mate. Awful. All right, then, Jack, great to have you back, mate. I know, obviously, it's hard with the job that you do, but always appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no, good to be on. I often try and watch the shows, and it's often about 2 or 3 days after, sometimes even a week after, when another result's already happened. But yeah, and just want to say well done, Anthony and Rochelle. Like, I know it's often difficult first show, but you guys were brilliant tonight as well, and hopefully be on some more.
Yeah, definitely. Nicely done there, Jack. I'll say thank you to Rochelle. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. It's great to have you on, mate. Talking sense where some of us don't, so it's good.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully you come back as well. Yeah, who have I forgot? Oh, Paul. Thank you, mate. Thank you for everything that you've done. Obviously, I know you learning how to set up all the show and make sure we didn't like end up on Sky Sports News or anything. But well, we might still. You never know. But that's it.
Yeah, you never know. But no, sir. Yeah, all good here, and I'll hopefully see some of you on Wednesday night for the Leicester game.
Cool. And then save the best till last. Catherine, thank you as always. Thanks for your stats and thanks for keeping the chat flowing as well.
Oh, thanks for having me. Always happy to join when I can, and hopefully someday soon I'll be getting a ticket and flying over.
I was trying to work out how much more your ticket and flight would be to Lyon than Kev's.
I did do a little searching to see what it would be round trip. I'm talking $1,200, so probably like I think it's 1,400 pounds for a round trip plane ticket.
So what are you moaning about, Kev?
I wouldn't fly. Mate, there's only one way to go to a Champions League game, and that's by bike.
Oh, yeah. That's a long bike ride for Catherine. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't have the powers of Jesus. I can't ride on water. So yeah, plane it is.
There you go, guys. Obviously, please hit the subscribe button for the channels. It really helps. So we've got loads of really exciting stuff up and coming, like more content, especially to do with the Arsenal women, like for the rest of the season, next season. We also have the non-Arsenal stuff, so that's just the women football chat show where we've got some exciting guests coming on that as well, and watch-alongs. Talking about watch-alongs, I'm assuming Ryan will be doing a watch-along on Sunday. So obviously, please, if you're not at the game, tune into that. And all that's left to say is all have a lovely weekend and come on, you Gunners. Good night.
Good night.